Holy macaroni. My eyes are literally I'm gonna be tearing up all night, and I can taste it. Right. Hi, everybody. I just paid Febreze. I've never used that stuff in my life. I think I did too much on the carpet right beneath me, and now I can literally taste it.
It's a fairly aggressive scent.
We are babysitting a dog that peed right where I stand at my workstation on our carpet, and so it smells. I cleaned the carpet, but it didn't seem to work well enough, so Jen just brought me some Febreze, and I was like, great. I was like, oh, wow, that's pretty harsh.
Is it a lot or no? And
As I'm spraying it, I'm like, should it do it 10 times?
I said, well, if you do too much, then that's going to smell really bad too.
So we traded the bad smell for this smell that's not actually that bad, but I can taste it.
It's too
like
much.
It's gritty. What's going on, people? What is happening? Rocket Chicken, what the hell's going on? Telemachus. His name is Telemachus, not Telemachus.
Telemachus.
Yes. After being here for like 14 years, he finally told me the other day.
Like in the Odyssey.
Odysseus'
that's
son
Cyclops,
or something like that. Telemachus.
Right? Telemachus is the Cyclops.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Telemachus is a Cyclops?
I think so. In the Odyssey. Telemachus, is that correct?
Kameki, what? Not even a thing, dude. You're the fake. That couldn't possibly be the real Kameki. Because the real Kameki's been gone for like 8 years. What is going on, man? Good to see you. Art Image, what is happening? Grins, what's going on? What's up, Ray? Matchstick, what's happening? I see you out there. Lazar, what's going on? No, he's the son of Odysseus. Yeah, they told us he was the son of Odysseus.
Who's the Cyclops?
Paleomorus, what's going on? Telemachus is a figure in Greek mythology, the son of Odysseus and Penelope, and a central character in Homer's Odyssey.
I knew it was from the Odyssey, at least.
Maui Blood, you're technically not
one.
late. Damn stray dogs walking into your yard and getting torn up by your pack. Took him to the vet and got home just in time. What? That sounds like way too much drama, my friend. Your dogs destroyed the intruder.
Oh.
It's a bummer for that poor dog. Kameki, yes, we've been going on partnership for over a year now. Good to see you back, man. Polyphemus is the giant son of Poseidon and Thusa, one of the Cyclopses.
Cyclops.
I feel like Paleomeris gets the gold star of the day for Greek mythology. There you go. You get a gold star, my friend. Welcome. Drago, what's happening? Ebb and Flow, what's going on? Do you know why the Cyclops stopped being a teacher, Jen?
No.
Neither do I. Maybe Ebb and Flow will tell us. I feel a dad joke coming on.
Oh. I just heard a dad joke.
I feel a thing coming on. I made up a dad joke. I do my best jokes in the bathroom.
He really does. It's like he's an actual dad.
Because he only had one pupil.
Oh.
But Rocket Chicken, thank you for the bits. Thanks for the bits.
Tell them your dad joke.
I have to tell it?
Yes.
Hey.
It's yours. You made it up.
I wonder if they call it a penis because you pee in this here toilet.
Yep.
Whoops.
The love of my life, ladies and gentlemen.
Be here all night. Be here all night. Try the chicken.
No.
Try the chicken. I yelled it at her from my bathroom.
He was so excited when he came out of the bathroom with that joke.
I was so excited I yelled it at her from the bathroom. I thought of it while I was, guess what? Peeing!
And he thought of another dad joke while he was in the bathroom.
Art Image.
It's
about those scissors. Yeah, Matchstick Man, you hit it. Poopness was already taken, exactly. Because I'm about to poop in this here toilet. I was so excited.
He was very excited.
I am literally
really
like just a step above or below, depending on which side of the fence you're sitting, of like a 5-year-old.
He seriously though it's like he actually was a dad delivering what he thought was one of the best jokes ever. It was exactly that way.
Oh, it's so good. It's horrible. Oh.
That's where the
Slay
bathroom.
me.
The bathroom is also where he came up with. I wonder where bees sit.
Artie Wolf, what's going
their
on?
behind.
What's going on? Oh, shit balls. Kenny, check your messages. I sent you a message. I literally sent you a Twitch message. Check your messages. Yeah, I can't do Discord. I pop Discord open, it takes forever to open, and then after it opens, every other window I have runs at like half speed. Like, chat doesn't refresh, nothing refreshes, so I told you I wasn't going to do it today until I figure out what's going on with it. So. Oh, meh. What does Barbie do at Halloween? Pumpkin?
She pumps Ken.
She pumps Ken?
Pumpkin.
Pumpkin? Discord is evil, man. I don't know what's going on with it. It updated and now it like destroys my computer. Oh. Oh well, Maui. Can't protect all the dogs. Looking in the mirror doesn't count as coming up with a joke. Learn to spell, Ray. I'm not going to read any more of your stuff unless you spell. C-O-M-M-I-N-G, not a word. Calming. Wrong word. I just told the worst joke in the history of our jokes on our channel, I think, and that's saying something, right? But it's my channel. I can do what I want. You're not the boss of me.
That's our other pillow on our couch. I do what I want.
Oh, we've got that. It's like a cat flipping you off. It literally is like a cartoon cat flipping you off, and it says, I do what I want.
Yeah.
Our house is just not made for, it's made for the best kind of adults.
Yes.
Right? Which are like children that can get into bars. That's what our house is. Kitty! Coming in hot. Sorry you didn't get my message, my friend.
Uh-oh.
Welcome, everybody.
Uncle Touchy's already talking about ice cream.
What? I blame you people. I blame you people for everything. What was my I blame you people? Was that the poop smear one? I don't remember what that was.
I'll look at it.
I don't remember what that one
I won't
was.
be able to hear it. I can see. Oh, it's your hair. Your hair when we shaved it.
Oh.
It's got the. It's the one where it's got the
So
the shave right down the middle, and then the sides are like this.
It's like ears.
Yeah.
It's so good. Horse Rank, what's going on? Next level painting. Kenny coming in with that. Was that Szechuan sauce? Are you trying to start a fight? Everybody, welcome all the people coming over from Next Level Painting. Unfortunately, we weren't able to talk to Kenny on Discord like we normally do because Discord was screwing my computer up. So I sent him a message that he didn't read because he doesn't know how to read. He doesn't know how to read. Big man Rob, what's up, Pasty? What's happening? JP Gray, what's up? Why not be younger? You know, I tried being younger once and it didn't work out so well for me. I got removed and got an order that says I have to stay like 500 feet from schoolyards and public libraries. So we're not going to do that anymore. Strider, oh, we already read that one. That was horrible. The fabled gin is actually real, Azabans. I told you. Azabans came in and he goes, I don't think there really is a gin. I was like, have you been here on Fridays? There's a gin. She's real.
Yeah, it's pretty much only Fridays now. Well, I was gone both Tuesday and Wednesday this week, so.
Art Image has a
That was
point. You
not
guys kind of
possible.
are the boss. I just can't let you know that. Spikey Bits, you can go to bars. Well, that's the kind of adult our house is made for. Our house is the perfect playground for adults that are really just children that are old enough to get into bars. Because that fits Jen and I to a T. Except I never get carded. I only get carded when they take pity on me.
I don't get carded.
Hey, somebody
You've been
likes
carded
us.
when I haven't been. Pestans, what's going on? Thank you for that follow. Welcome. Not reading that, Telemachus. Not reading that. Camo Specs, what is going on? Welcome back.
Hey, somebody likes us.
Hulking Orc, what's going on?
Thank you, Solitude 162.
You can see what the shelves are supposed to look like. The shelves are good, man. The shelves, the paint shelves are a godsend. Kenny's not going to know what to do with them, though, right? Because I don't know if he's got the architectural chops to actually build them correctly. I can't really move my thing. I was going to show everybody. But for some reason, my camera is stuck over on her desk, I think. I feel like the camera, I feel like I moved the wire, and now it sticks on something over on your desk or something like that, maybe?
Well, there's something that's not plugged in.
That's not this one. Oh, maybe that is this one. Is this one work? Oh, it's not plugged in. Rip. That's bad.
Hey, somebody likes
Supposed to
us.
be plugged into.
Hold, please. Let me get the pallet cam plugged in. Hang on. Hold on. Hold on.
Where is it supposed to be plugged in? I'll do it.
Tell you that.
What is it, top secret?
I don't know. How do I know? I didn't it's not like a regular place.
Hey, somebody likes us.
Oh, we'll just plug into each other?
Is that the one you just pulled?
No, there was one. I thought it was this one.
It's like, is that a thing? I feel like that's it. This is it. This is it.
Could have done that.
Well, huzzah! I'll just throw back my legs and pollute my britches with delight.
How was I supposed to tell you? I could have done that. Yeah, you could have. It's not that you can't do things. It's just I don't know how to tell you where to look for. So there's a thing, and they go in the thing with a thing, and it does like that. That's how I describe that kind of crap to people.
Well, and they were both sitting there in front of my eyes, so that's okay.
Now
It's
it's
done.
not. Let's see if we can do this. Is this that one? Turn it off. Turn it on. Ah, there
Why
we
don't
go.
you donate $5
There
to
we
the
go.
cause and maybe it'll make you feel
Drago! Thank you, Drago. All right,
thank
somebody's
you.
asking about the racks. We'll show off the racks. Everybody says Kenny needs racks. We're going to send him, but we don't know if he's architecturally inclined enough to put them together. It'll be a test for Kenny. These are the racks. These are the new the Click Boom racks from Slow Fuse Gaming. So you got the 64 paint racks that we use. We've been using these for a few months now. We just got the shelves in though, so I added in the shelves. They basically are like Legos. They snap together, so I could spread my 64 paint. I got 4 of the 64 paint bottle racks, and they were nested together. And then I just split them apart and popped in 2 of the shelf units. And so you see the 2 shelf units. I've got the bleacher racks, the little shelf inserts on those, so you can set all the GW paints in there. And then the brush rack snaps into the bottom one too. So it's all modular. Really, really cool. Kenny's got some. Rob's got some going on the way. So both of those guys should have them by Monday, I hope. If the post office does its job, then hopefully by Monday, both of those guys will have theirs and can clean up and organize some of their spaces, which will be cool.
Chuck Whiffenden
$10
just said
donation
architectural
received from
tops.
Drago
Those shelves are so
_
easy to build.
What
I'm
did
mostly
the
worried
acorn
about
say
Kenny
when he
painting a
grew
giant
up?
penis over the SFG
Geometry.
logo.
Oh no! He
Gee,
probably will
I'm
too.
a
He has
tree.
markers. He has markers. He has the power. The power. Ha-power. Hooking Orc Daka. You can go on the site, soulfusegaming.com. They're up on there.
It's a thing that goes into that, and then you put that on the doodad, and then a stuff might happen that does another.
It does the
something or
thing.
other.
It does that thing where the things happen, the blinky, and there's a girl in a movie with a guy. That's how I describe. Hey, you know that actor that does the thing, the car?
What did the acorn say when he grew up?
What?
Geometry.
Oh. Why?
That's from Drago.
Why? Because it's Friday. So who's painting what? Art Image tonight is Bushido Paint-along Day 3. So we have been, during this month's Paint-along, working on this Bushido miniature. It is the Buzinbo from GCT Studios, Bushido the game, imagine that. And it's kind of like a fairy tale alternate feudal Japan kind of story. It takes some historic references. It takes a lot of mystic kind of mythos, in Japanese culture. Obviously, like Tengu, big bird samurais. So that's what we're painting. Buzimbo is one of the bird samurais, one of the old wise warriors from the mountain. And so we are painting him up. Tonight is all about non-metallic gold. So we did on Wednesday, went through and base coated with the burnt umber. As you can see, this kind of brown on all of the plate parts, and we're going to be doing the non-metallic gold on him tonight. So as soon as we get started, that'll be the focus. So if you've ever wanted to know how to sling some metallics that aren't really metallic, that's what we'll be talking about. Yay! JP Gray, you made me a reservation. This Grace place, the graveyard, you hear people are dying to get into it? Nah. So JP's on a streak where all he does is tell me I'm old. I have yet to figure out why this is happening, but it's a thing.
It's as if you don't know.
It's like I am old, right? I have to go out and build his shelves for him. I think he can handle it. I think Kenny's got the chops. I like that word doodad, though. Such a great word.
It is a good one. Any preview, review of the rules?
Yes. The rules for the game, we're doing that all on Sunday. So we do a thing called Gloves Off every other Sunday. Well, we do it every Sunday, but every other Sunday we play games. This Sunday is all Bushido, all time with myself and Mike. Uncle Touchy in chat, Naked Puzzle Basement. He's in there. Raise your hand. We will be playing Bushido on Sunday. So make sure you come in. It'll be my Tengu against his Ito clan. And probably about 4 or 5 models aside fighting off against each other. Should be a lot of fun. The rules are pretty deep. They're not... I would liken them to kind of more Wild West Exodus, than Arena Rex, or the Relic Blade that we did the last time. Those 2 games are also skirmish games, very low model count, real simple rules, fast pace. Bushido, also a fast-paced game. It's on a 2x2, so again, it's on a very small mat, very few miniatures, low model count. But the rules are a little bit more in-depth with how things work. You can get, exhaustion, kind of like along the lines of Arena Rex, and then a lot of other resource management that you have to do, as well as picking, like when you're in a fight, do you want to attack with more dice or defend with more dice, and you keep that secret until you show your opponent. So some really cool parts to it that I think you guys will really like. It's a great game. We've had some feedback that some people say there are certain models and things in the game that are OP. Obviously, as we go through them, we don't get to play every model, so we're not necessarily going to hit on that. I don't know. We might see that something's severely OP in the game. But so far, I'm pretty happy with it. So join us on Sunday at noon Pacific, which is 12 p.m. for those people. I say noon, and some people are like, what does noon mean? Because in Europe, that's not a term.
Really?
Yeah, not for a specific hour. Like here, it's noon is 12. There, noon is like any time after 10 or something like that.
Okay. Huh. All right. Interesting. I learned something new today. Uncle Touchy, did you get the test results? Do you know for sure?
What's that?
Uncle Touchy just yelled, "You're not my real dad."
They don't send the results to him. They send them to me. I'm the one trying to not pay child support. Giuliano Art, what's going on? Thank you for that follow. Start drinking heavily? Yes. We didn't base in mahogany for forge for what? For gold? Non-metallic gold? No, that's not a thing. I usually don't base metallics in mahogany. I guess if we were doing like maybe a rose gold or copper, you could get away with mahogany. But generally, I choose for burnt umber as a base for yellow metallics, yellow non-metals, right? Like golds, bronzes, coppers, things like that. I generally go for burnt umber. It has a really nice, rich, orangey brown. Gives it a real nice shadow color. Mahogany is made for anything red. We make a great team, JP. This is true. JP feels old. His hips are... He's the one that's actually falling apart. I'm not falling apart. I just look like I'm falling apart.
You don't look like you're falling apart.
I'm okay. She just loves me.
You look good.
She just loves me.
I do.
Sal Doc, what's going on? You're 120 years old? Holy hell. Please don't tell me your secrets. I don't want to be here that long. Are we changing the drinking game? Drink every time I say NMM instead of mahogany? Hell no, it's always mahogany. Mahogany, 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 mahogany. And now everybody's drunk. See how that works? That's the way it works. What would you base for silver non-metallic? You couldn't find the VOD, Drago. Well, for silvers, generally you're just working up over a base of dark grays. You can use like very dark blues and work up for silvers through bluish grays. I tend to want to glaze the blue on last. But there are a lot of people that like to work it up as, very, very deep blues, mixing blues with your darkest grays to get that blue into the workup as you're painting. As opposed to me, I go through all of my grays and then I glaze blues on at the end. But some people don't like the glazing, whether they're just not comfortable with it or what, but it just depends on where your comfort level is. But for silvers, it's literally black and dark gray to work them up. All right. Pyroman, what's going on? You love everybody. Can you join? Sure. Belzaro, sobriety is a strange place. Sobriety? We're calling it sobriety. I'm drinking Pank Drink. So cheers.
Pank Drink.
I'm supporting the devil, drinking Starbucks. Someone in chat is drunk. You can smell it all the way from there. You got to turn your smell-o-vision down a bit. You got the smell-o-vision knob up.
Evan Flo said, "My dad always said the day I can't do my job drunk is the day I turn in my badge and my gun."
That's a good one. I like it. Can I take pity and show us your basic silver paints workup? The bottles, you mean? For non-metallic silvers, Ray? Is that what you're asking me? All right. Just because you guys are nice, I like Ray and I like Drago. The rest of you are questionable, but we're going to go for it anyway. All right. Obviously, everything I do is over a base of black primer. I don't ever prime with anything other than black, only in the rare occasion when I'm doing big tanks and planes. Right? So let's look here. Bazoinks. Where is... I feel like we already had Spaceship Exterior out here at one point in time. spaceship exterior. All right, so this is my general workup for non-metallics in white metals, steel, anything that you're doing in that silver metallic, silver steels, you get it. There's actually not as many. Platinum, there's not a whole lot of white metals. I start with black primer base, then we move to black gray from Model Air. And again, for this, I generally try to go after these specific branded paints. Now, if you have a color that you like, you just need to make sure that you've got a really, really dark gray. Black gray is more gray than black, okay? So it's a little funky on the name. You would think that, because I think Vallejo really thinks in terms of if it's black gray or if it's black green, that it means it's more of the second color, right? So there's a little bit of black added to the gray in this, so whatever.
They're wrong.
Yeah, whatever. But it's black gray, right? So I start with black gray and do that kind of like we did our burnt umber. Generally paint everything with black gray. Then I'll move on to just regular gray. It's just Model Air gray, right? Doesn't get any more plain than that. It's not a huge jump from black gray, as you can see. There's not a huge bump up, but I use the gray to start blocking in where my my saturation, my shine, and reflection will go. I'll show you that as we do the golds. Again, remember, the technique doesn't care about the color, right? So as I tell you these colors, we're going to do the exact same thing with the colors we use for gold. So just follow along, and if you're trying to at home think about how to do silver, you're going to repeat it just using these colors. All right, so black gray, gray for starting to block things in. You could then choose to go to neutral gray. It depends on how serious you are. If you want to be able to do it fast, neutral gray is a color I would remove. The jump from gray to light gray is not so abusive that when you're blending you can't get over it. If you want to really take the time, you're really getting down to the nitty-gritty, maybe doing it for a competition or whatever, I like neutral gray. Neutral gray covers the distance between those two, so you can do that. And then light gray for, as I'm starting to get into my real highlights, edge highlighting for shine along an edge, then really starting to get the finite detail done on all of the shine and the saturation. And then I go to spaceship exterior, which is getting you in towards white, right? And that will be where I really start banging up the value, like where because anytime you have a shine on metal, it does what we call saturate. It oversaturates every color around it. So you get the color of the light, which in most terms is going to be white light, sunlight, whatever. But a white shine on silver metal, and that shine, depending on how shiny the thing is, overtakes all the color around it. So I start moving into the bright gray here, and then ultimately white, right? Our slow fuse white. So this would be it, and then at the end you would determine, do you want to glaze anything back? Hoods Gate with a sub, 10 months, my friend. Thank you, Hoods. Then at the end you have to determine how much do you want it to look like, like a very shiny polished steel, or do you want it to look gritty? Gritty steel is going to stay in the realm of gray even with the saturation and the shine, so these colors would be great, fine. If you want it to look polished like chrome, a high polish on a sword that doesn't have blood or anything on it, then you would start looking for a very dark blue to then glaze back. So deep blue. I like to use dark sky. Yeah, dark sky from the Army Painter, right? Or just plain blue from Model Air. Both of these work really well. And you just glaze this as a topical glaze coming out of the shadows into some of the midtones. You don't put it into the whites or the very light saturation points at all, but just glaze some blue into the shadows, and you get a really cool effect. I've got, do we have a model? I feel like I pulled somebody out just the other day that kind of has that effect going on. So you see how kind of on this guy, you've got the shine, and you can see just a little bit of blue coming out of the darkness and a little bit into the midtones, but nothing in the real saturated shine points on the blade, all right? And so you can play around with how dark and how light you go and how much you glaze on there.
It might be the light or something, because on the camera it looked really blue.
What
and
did?
That, when you were showing that, the blue, you could really see the blue.
Yeah. Yeah, on this guy we went pretty heavy with it.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I feel like I'd looked at it before. You'd shown it on camera before and it looked more silver.
No, this guy we went pretty blue, so the blades were more like a polished blade.
You had a couple questions about different colors. So Ray said, is Necromancer Cloak from Army Painter close enough?
To what?
I think to the darkest one.
Yeah, Necromancer Cloak, is that the one? Is that their darkest gray black? Then I feel like it is. I still would put a little bit of black in it, maybe.
And then Drago asked if there was a Vallejo equivalent of that last one, the Army Painter one that you had.
No, not that I like as much. You could just start adding white to the light gray, though, and get there, right? So just do
Hey,
a blend of the
somebody
white and
likes
your
us.
light gray, and you'll be fine. Like a 50-50 blend would be just fine. The spaceship exterior doesn't add any other hues. It doesn't go to blue or anything crazy like that, so you're fine just doing a mix. Sorry, as I reach across the camera here, guys. I gotta get all these back in the thing, or it'll become a mess around here.
I don't even know what that says.
What's that?
For Texas Unamino.
For
Zunamino.
welcome, thank you. Thank you for the follow.
We can spend all
That's a
night on
tough
that
name. You got to tell us. Can we just call you Fert? I
Fert.
feel like Fert is fun to
I
say.
like Fert.
That might be the most fun name we have in here if you let me say it that way. Fert. I like it. Welcome and thank you for the follow. There you go, Ray. There's your pity. All right. Flight and Passion, what is going on? Boshek, what's happening? Good to see you guys.
Hardy Wolf and Azrael, what are you trying to find with points and rank?
Doodads.
Maybe Slowbucks or VIP?
You brought the Pro Shaker Pro,
Is that like the shake weight?
except it shakes paints.
Oh.
So not exactly. Hoodsgate, you've been away a while. I'm glad to have you back, man. It's good to see you. Dragon, you can't add more than 364 bottle paint racks to your cart? How come you can't add more than 364 bottle? Oh, it may be that it is showing that they are out of stock because I did not up the stock amount on them. Give me just a second, I'll do that because we just got more in today. And you're right, I did not go in. So give me a second, folks. If I can do this. I haven't been able to log in from this computer in forever. I don't know why. See if it lets me. Did it? Did it? Did it? Did it? Did it? Did it? Let me put some more in stock. Yep. It did let me. Oh, geez. A Pete's. Seriously? This is what this thing is going to do to me now? Come on. Come on. Come on. Store maintenance. Then we'll get into some non-metallic gold. Yeah, I apologize. We were nearly sold out of the first batch, and I've only been adding them in as I physically have them in my hand. And we just went and picked up today 64 more. Well, so that's crazy. 64 of the 64 dropper bottle racks. So we got plenty. Let me put those into Stockerino. I'll put like 30 up there. Because we haven't actually like put them together is another thing.
They
Right?
make my car smell like a campfire.
Yeah, it does, right?
It smells so good.
It does. Yeah, that's why, because there's literally only like 3 in stock. So I'm gonna go ahead and bump that up to 30 for you real quick, and you should be good now. Let me check shelves too while I'm at it. Oh, okay, shelves have got good stock. All right, so there you go. They are in stock. Buy to your heart's content. We much appreciate it. Thanks. Thanks. Get this. Come on.
Ray Silver said thank you.
Hey,
Can't
somebody
you just
likes us.
tape your paints to the shake weight and use it that way to mix them?
Hey, that would probably be a better workout. Skittles, what's going on? Thank you for the follow. JP, I don't understand you. These aren't funny trolls. What are you doing? Ray, so Next Level Painting told me I was wrong and questioned your life choices. What are you talking about? You should never question your life choices by anything Kenny or I tell you. I swear to God, we don't know what we're doing. We may act like we know what we're doing. We don't have a clue what we're doing. I'm about to show you how little of a clue I have. All right. So I want to first take, we've got the base coat of burnt umber on here, right? So we've gone through, we've got burnt umber on all of the gold plates, what we're going to be working on. We're going to be, I guess, I don't know, I was going to say let's try to work a little quicker, but I don't know. I want everybody to feel comfortable with it, so I think we'll spend the time that we need. And then what we're going to focus on first is kind of trying to block in where we want brightness to move on the metallics. And so if you know, I'm always telling you, hold your model in the light, take a photo of it with the flash of your camera on, but see how the model itself reflects light. And so right now you'll notice how on the chest, you've got this light reflection that goes off to the left and then leaves the right in darkness. And I like that, so that's what we'll stick with. It also saturates kind of right here in the middle of the top plate, then off to the left side as we're looking at it, his right, our left. And then down here, kind of the same thing on this low crotch plate down low. It saturates in the middle and then kind of runs off to darkness on both edges, so I'm okay with that. Obviously on this thigh, it's going to be lighter on the left, darker on the back, just because of the way we're going to paint it like that, right? So the first thing I always do as I'm looking through is figure out, all right, so what makes sense? So this one over here is going to be brighter on this facing panel, darker in the back, just like what you're seeing, right? This one in the middle is going to be brighter, kind of all the way, because we assume light's just hitting it from above. The chest, we're going to do on the top plate, kind of brighter off in the center and then fading off to the sides. And then just the left side shine on those, left side shine on this one down here. The feet are going to be mostly in shadow, so we won't have a whole lot of shine, except as you can see right here, like down on the lower R left over the foot plate, and the shin won't have much shine to it at all. Over here, next to nothing, right? Just the edges probably, because this shin is all bent up underneath, so very little light, just edge highlights and things on that. So it's always good to kind of walk through in your head to just kind of feel like, okay, what do I want to do? Like on this guy, you know, we'll probably do highlights up on across the top, and then of course shadow down below. Same for anything up here that runs horizontal. Just very easy. We've got a very nice horizontal plane with his body. So light coming from the top is what our expectation is. So we'll just do brighter up top, darker down below. Real simple. Same with this one over here. Okay, bright up top, darkness down below. So always just kind of think those things out, try to figure out, okay, just in basic sense, where do I want my brightness and darkness to go? Does it match with how I've highlighted the other things that I might or might not have painted on the model? You know, we've just gone with a standard 12 noon kind of highlight, tops of the arm, tops of the head, all that. So nothing crazy on this guy, no OSL, no funky stuff. We laid the burnt umber down. Burnt umber was just a thin coat covering everything, just as a good base. All right, now we're going to move into golden brown. Right, so that should be your first color, or whatever kind of middle brown that you're liking.
So Ray said that
JP, nobody said you had to be funny?
Ray asked Kenny, if I open a bag of Fritos and pour chili and cheese in it, is that not Frito chili pie? And then apparently you said that, or you questioned that Frito chili pie recipe.
Okay, first off, never ask Kenny anything about food. All right? Ever. Period. Because his definition of nachos is not just wrong, it is so wrong that it will lead you so far astray and into heresy that you'll never be able to return to the world of the living. Right? And chili into a bag of Fritos, not right. Not right. I can give you about a dozen ways that are just as easy and just as good.
But it's portable.
That is portable. But it is portable. You can put it in a thermos, for Christ's sakes. I used to put my freaking SpaghettiOs in a thermos, right? I feel like that's the thing.
SpaghettiOs.
Huh?
I said yum. SpaghettiOs.
They leave like a coppery blood aftertaste, though. Isn't that weird?
Right. It's the can, I think.
I think it is. It's like, why does the can taste stay with the SpaghettiOs? I feel like that's one of the reasons why our generation is the best. All right. All right, so let's start up here with the arm plates. And what we want to do is just take this golden brown and work it into all of these areas where we said we wanted it brighter. So all of these top plates, right? We just want to start layering it up.
Matchstick Man, I believe it is tortilla chips with slices of American cheese on top of it.
Yep.
In the microwave.
Yep. Oh, does he even bother to heat it up anymore?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I just assume because it's not a nacho if you don't melt the cheese on top.
Kenny might not agree with you there. All right, so I'm using a stroke that goes from the midline up to the upper portion here, right, which is where it's going to kind of be the brightest for us. And I'm doing the whole panel.
Yeah, both these I agree.
All right, now I'm also leaving a gap, all right? So don't jump into this super quick. I'm leaving a gap right along the shadow line for each of these panel overlaps. All right, so each place where I have a panel indentation, this panel sits on top of this one, on top of this one, I'm leaving about a brush tip's width of burnt umber being the only color there. I'm not painting over that. I want that to remain as dark as I can get. So I keep these shadow lines on there, all right? So I'm just painting around that.
JP, you don't know.
Gee, you don't know.
What color are you using right now?
Golden brown.
Golden brown.
Golden brown, all right?
For the slackers who missed it.
We will just keep doing those brush strokes from that center ridge up towards the top of the arm plate. You'll notice how a lot of your paint will come off of the brush up towards the top. Brighten that up. Leave that brush width there in the shadows at the plate overlaps. It's going to look real funky at the beginning. All non-metallics look funky when you start. Trust me. You go through a lot of stages of what the F am I doing? But just trust me. I've never let you down.
What the funky am I doing?
What the F? What the funky? What was Bill Cosby's word?
Filth.
Filth. What the
filth?
Filth, foul, and filth.
That's what
Eddie Murphy
said.
The filth, foul, and filth. All right, so again, there's not as steep of a ridge in the middle of this hand protector, so I just go from about a brush width off the bottom and start bringing it up. There won't be near as much darkness on the piece on his hand. All right. So that was 2 coats. We're going to go back for a third.
I don't think he said roofie.
Oh, God.
He just...
Oh, God. Yeah, I never warn Jen before I drop one in her drink either.
Yeah. That's why I don't remember some things.
I feel like that takes the fun out of it all. All right, now we're gonna do something that may seem a little weird. All right.
Ray said, I apparently did not get that color. Plague brown and burnt umber work?
Plague brown and burnt umber. Plague brown can take the place of the golden brown, yes. Well, no, it can't. Hang on. I'm lying. If you have...
These people trust you.
If you have beastie brown, you could do it. If you have like an earth brown, you might be able to do it. What is this? Flat earth from Model Color Works. If you didn't get golden brown,
The
you're
earth
kind
is
of
not flat.
You're kind of screwed. You could take what could you take? You could take like chocolate brown and add a little bit of yellow ochre to it, maybe, to get this color.
Could you melt some chocolate?
You could melt chocolate and add yellow ochre, and then you could eat that as well.
You probably couldn't.
How did you miss that, Ray?
Oh, Ray said I got beastie. Couldn't remember why, but you were out of golden.
Okay, yeah, beastie brown. That'll work just as well. It'll look a little bit different, but it'll do the same thing for you. Now, what we want to do is on the bottom side of this, right? Notice how we've now got this ridge where everything's brighter up above, dark down below. We can't have it be pure darkness. So what we want is we want to take a little bit of this golden brown, and we actually want to lighten up the bottom. All right, so I'm going to leave burnt umber right in the middle, and I'm just going to lighten up the bottom again. Leave that brush strokes width worth of shadow in between the armor plates. And then just reach down here like so. You know what I'm doing? And I'm leaving darkness right through the middle. So I get that nice reflective dark spot that we're going to be building off of right in the middle. Then it goes to full bright up top, and then it gets a little bit brighter down below. And now we're going to just start repeating that all over the model. That's an easy shape. Some of these are not so easy. So over here, what we want to do is, I think, we want the brightest spot on the chest plate to be right in the middle, we had said. So let's start with that. I'm just going to kind of do the golden brown all over this
one of those porno
flange.
Large box of condoms.
Condoms, check.
Bottle of Old Harper. A couple of those panty shields and some illegal fireworks. And one of those disposable enemas.
One?
Make it 2.
As I do this, again, the area right around the belt that goes over him, the strap that goes across his chest, I leave about a brush width of dark burnt umber, right? I don't push that golden brown right up to the strap. I leave a space there on both sides of that strap to give that shadow effect. Then I want to come in on the center, right between these. We haven't heard that one in a while. We were just talking about that.
We were.
I want to leave the divots in the armor there, those details, those slots. I want to leave those pure black. Or not black, but they're burnt umber now. All right, so I want to zoom in as close as it'll let us get and still focus in on this chest piece so you can see what I'm doing. All right, I'm brightening up this panel here. I'm leaving shadow on the top for the belt, or I keep calling it a belt, the strap, right? And I'm leaving a shadow line around this flange because you can imagine that dirt and grit and grime would build up in that flange. So don't pile a bunch of paint in there, right? You want to keep that fairly dark with the burnt umber, like so. And then we just kind of feather this back out towards the edges of the panel.
I'm a fatality.
Right. I only want burnt umber towards the outside edge on this. So really, really thin. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start pulling from that outside edge back towards the center. Brightening up as I go because I'm layering.
JP wants to know if you're going to paint the beak pink.
Yes. Of course. Why wouldn't I? All right. So just a little bit thinner towards the outside, golden brown building up towards the inside. Same thing over here. Leave your gap for the strap coming across his chest. And then just push that golden brown out towards the edge, but build it up around the strap, making sure you leave enough of a gap to keep that shadow. And for the hair too. Notice how I'm not painting all the way up to the hair. Just leave enough to where you get that halo of shadow around anything that boxes this piece in to give it the depth. If you push paint all the way up against the strap, then it makes the strap and the gold plate underneath it look like they're at the same level, same layer of depth on the model. And that winds up screwing you a little bit. You wind up having to go back and, glaze or pin wash in your shadows. You know how much I love doing that.
Armin said, I know you don't like GW paints, but what about Forge World paints? I have someone who wants me to use FW paints to paint his Imperial Titan, and I never use them.
We used the Forge World paints when we painted Mathis' Emperor's Children. He wanted the same thing. He wanted the paints that they used in the studio paint job, and I wasn't unhappy with the airbrush ones. I think that's all they make, right? The Forge World Air acrylics. I don't know that they make non-air acrylics. And I wasn't unhappy with them. We enjoyed using them. I had to mix them quite a bit, but they weren't bad. All right, moving down below. I haven't used any other ones, though, I'll be honest with you. Moving down below, I want to brighten up the left side like we talked about initially, remember? So I'm pulling from where I want it to be darker to where I want this panel to be brighter, and I want it bright right down this center section. So it'll be darker over here where the strap causes a shadow. So I pull the brush lightly from that area to the center. Very, very short brush strokes right at the center to pile up paint there. Right, and just get a nice fade with it being a little bit brighter right along the center line. Making sure, again, that you leave your brush width up above for that plate and up down below for all of these areas that box it in. I don't want to push paint all the way up or I lose that nice shadow. Part of what really sells all these details is being able to tell all the transitions between panels and such. So you just got to keep going. Repeat this entire process. Right? Same thing here on this outer flange. I like that word. Flange. Darker up towards the strap, then pile the paint on right towards the center. Just to get kind of a nice fade working there.
And Falcon Punch Drunk said any word on when brushes might be available.
We got the shipping notice today, gang. I forgot to tell you. That was going to be one of my announcements at the beginning. I told a bad joke and then completely lost my train of thought.
He was so proud of himself for that joke.
So, yeah, so we did. We got the notification that they are shipping. I should be getting a tracking number in the next couple of days. So let's all rejoice. Brushes should be here, quote unquote, soon. They ship DHL, so it usually gets here pretty quick. Same thing on that one. Darker towards the outside. BBC, you don't have golden brown or yellow ochre. Will UK light stone or sand yellow work? Hang on, let me... you bought those from me, didn't you? Hang on, let me get through this real quick. As we come down further on the belly plate, it'll get darker towards the outside. I still want that light build up towards the center line, right? But I'm going to fade it and let it get a little bit darker as it works outwards. Because we're down lower in level on the body, it sneaks up inside all these other panels, right? So a little bit darker. Don't push it near as far as you did on the other one. That looks good. We're starting. Okay. Like so. Now, when I don't have much paint left on the brush, I'm going to do the same thing we did kind of up here on the wrist. I'm going to go and start highlighting out towards this outside edge, right, on these other plates on the rib cage. Very lightly. I don't want to build up a whole lot of color here. I want it to be darker right on the other side of that shine spot on the center ridge. But I want to build up a little bit towards that outside, like that.
Wicked Wombat wants to know if you're going to get the Song of Fire and Ice minis from Pullman or not.
Yeah, eventually. I've contacted them. The thing is, I don't think those are coming out for a while. They may think they're coming out quicker, but my contact has said that we're hopefully going to get them as soon as they're available. I don't know a timeline on what that means.
He said that he failed his willpower check and got the Kickstarter.
Oh, nice. Failed a check. That's all right, man. You don't got to feel bad about that. We all do that. All right, so see what I'm doing? I'm basically just light blending, taking nearly all the paint off my brush, so I'm not worried about putting a whole blob of paint down here. Most of the paint's on my thumb. And then I just take these strokes left to right, building up paint on the right end here. And then I'll just come and layer that up. Model has got like a little divot right there, so the paint has got a little trough that it's not getting in, so I'm going to have to be a little more specific right there to fill that in, like so. Bingo. And again, notice how I'm not going as bright as I did along the center line, but I still want to build up some color there. Same on the outside edging. Flanges. Flange is such a great word. It's not even what these are, but I just love saying it.
Flange should maybe be tonight's drinking.
Flange.
Drink every time you said flange.
Okay. I know that's a good setup for that. So you can see like what we're really doing is called a modulated highlight. It goes dark, light, dark, light. And for a lot of your metallics, the quick and dirty way to do it is to do that modulation. Figure out where you want your brightest spot to be. Paint that brightest spot. We got that center line and right down the center of the ridge to the left like we did. Paint that brightest spot and then go to darkness off to the opposite side of it. Now you've got dark and bright set up, then it tells you immediately go dark and bright right after it, right? So pick your bright spot, paint that. Go to dark, then, you know, whichever direction, sometimes down like we did here, right? And then push it across and go dark, light, like we've done here. Okay, let's keep moving. Let's do this center crotch cover piece. And we wanted this one to be brighter in the middle and work out to darkness on both sides since it's flat. Okay, so let's just start with paint coming in towards the center. Got to be a little careful here because we don't want to shove paint down in these holes. So I'm going to do this vertical stroke to set the paint up first, and then kind of come back easy in between there.
BBC Gaming said, I've taken fewer notes in college.
I don't know what to tell you about your colors, though, is the problem, because those other colors are pale. And what you need right now is because we're working so thin, remember, the golden brown that we're using is actually a lot darker than what you're seeing on the model. So the UK stone and the sand yellow or whatever that you got are too pale. So that's my fear there, is that you're gonna wind up with really, really bright base, and we're not to brightness yet. We're blocking it in, right? But this is still part of our shade layer more than anything else, because we're gonna get much brighter than this, right? So on this one, see how I'm building up my brightness in the middle there, and then fading out towards both edges. Let's think. Geez, BVC, I don't know. For yellow ochre, if you have plague brown, that's perfect, right? So if you're saying you don't have yellow ochre and you've ever done anything with us before, plague brown is a perfect color. It and yellow ochre, damn near the same, right? Yellow ochre on the left, plague brown on the right, those count. You can do that, okay? The yellow ochre has a little bit more yellow, which is why we're using it here, but plague brown will get you by if you don't have it, all right? So that's a good combo to replace that. As far as golden brown is tough, right? Chocolate brown and plague brown will make it. So if you have a chocolate brown or an earth brown or a fur brown or anything dark brown.
He said, I have Beastie if all else fails and yellow RLM.
Beastie will work for golden brown. Plague brown. You could use Beastie and yellow RLM and mix them to get the yellow ochre if you don't have plague brown. You're just going to be doing some mixing, right? All right. Feel like we're getting a good setup here. I'm going to go a little bit brighter on this crotch plate. It's not really a crotch, it's dangling very long. This is still his crotch, we got a problem. These birds are a force to be reckoned with. I'm just going to focus right here in the center with a little bit more of the golden brown. Notice how I'm not going out towards the edges with it. I'm just staying right here in the middle. That's going to drive that setup a little bit better. Bingo. Now let's do these leg plates on the side. Doesn't seem like when you're looking at him that he's got that much that's gold, and then you start painting it. All right, now on here, same thing that we did before. We want our brightest color to kind of be... want it in the middle, so let's draw from the outside here towards the center line. And again, remember, leave a brush width of shadow around all these pieces. So notice how the golden brown is building up right here in the center line because my brush stroke is going like this, and as I lift my brush, it drops more paint off there. You let it set up, dry a little bit, and you come back and do that same brush stroke. Very, very lightly, right? One of the keys towards making this work is that my brush is barely touching the model.
Grandstaff suggests maybe calling this his dangle plate.
His dangle plate. There you go. It's his dangle plate. It's covering up his dangly bits. I'm okay with that. The kilted bird warriors of the north. Except he's not wearing a kilt. He actually has pants on. So we want to keep doing this. Keep building up. This is my third layer on here. Working left to right. I'm getting that natural buildup of color towards the right because of my brush stroke. So bingo, right? That's starting to look pretty good. I like it. Do the same thing on the bottom of the plate. So, got the side to contend with. The side is going to be a lot brighter, so probably just do kind of bright on the entire side. Maybe darker towards the blue, so if you've got it in you, just stipple the yellow right along the leading edge of these panels and let the burnt umber exist between the golden brown and the blue. I'm making very, very short strokes going from the blue out to the edge. I mean, we're talking about a millimeter of gap here, but notice how you want to leave a little bit of the burnt umber in between there and the blue if you can afford to. You've got the chops. Now's the time to stick it. So, same thing on this. It gives us a nice built-in shadow right along the line of the blue there. Just be careful, like I'm not stabbing at it because I don't want yellow on the blue. And just control your brush a little bit. Get this top plate, same thing, left to right, although it has the belt, right, the sash, as it was called the other night, so you want to leave a brush stroke's worth of width around the sash as it lays over the panel there, so be careful with that. My part of this model has a lot of texture to it. The metal is very porous right here, so this may look a little junky, like it's beat up from battle. We'll call that battle damage.
This guy's metal?
Yeah, the whole model is. Computer. Hey, you know why they call it a penis?
Why?
Because I'm about to pee in this here toilet. Oh my God, I was so happy with this.
He just stood there with his hands on his hips, all proud. Beaming.
I was kind of beaming, wasn't
You
I? I
were
feel like that's a good
definitely
word for that.
beaming.
I feel like that's a pretty good word for what was going on. All right, so again, just build up your brightness towards the center panel here. Now, on this panel, what are we going to do?
The clown.
Right, on this panel here, it's all bright, but we went a little bit darker on the left side, then bright in the center. Here, what are we going to do? What we going to do? A shame sash. All right, so here, we want to leave it dark on the center and then bright towards the right. So let's keep doing this brush stroke left to right, building up lighter color towards the outside of the hip. But we want to leave it really dark right along the edge here. So much less buildup of paint as you go than what you did on the other panels, because this is the shaded panel. Right? It's still going to have a little bit of glow. All metal's going to have a little bit of shiny color to it if you're painting it shiny. Thing through here. And same thing on the flange. Right. Notice how we're building up much less paint along this, so that the whole panel is darker. You can come in and stipple in just a little bit more brightness right along the edge. By stipple, I mean just basically punch in right a millimeter's width at the edge here. You're not really making a brush stroke, you're basically just tapping the brush against the model. Not a little bit further on the flange. Like so. Right? And just like up here, now you're starting to see the balance that we're creating. The way the chest is bright in the center, a little bit of darkness, piles a little bit of brightness over here on the side, right here on the thigh plate, a little bit of darkness, brightness right in the middle, darkness again, then pile up a little bit of color on the side. So you're starting to see the cohesion that we're going with the way the panels are lit, right? Let's just keep on keeping on. Let's do this plate over here. This one's going to be reversed from the other side. Running out of paint. Fuse needs paint. It's a thing. Damn flangers. William Kingspeed, great name. What's going on? Again, right now we're using golden brown over burnt umber, both Model Air colors. It is, as you're watching me, if you're wanting to recreate what we're doing kind of exactly at home, I tend to tell you use the exact brand paint and color paint if you want exactly what I'm doing. You know, I say golden brown, you may have something called golden brown from somebody else. It's not always a guarantee that it's the same. It's definitely not with burnt umber, right? Burnt umber from Model Air is very different from Vallejo model color burnt umber. They are not the same, right? So I'm always, when I say burnt umber, I'm always talking about Model Air burnt umber. You know, in most cases, whenever I say ivory, I'm always talking about model color ivory. Not Model Air ivory. They're totally different. which is a complete pain in the butt. But they don't even come close to doing the same job.
That's silly.
Yeah, trust me. I've been fighting with that one for years. Because every time I see on the store, we have a store at slowfusegaming.com for those of you that are out there that may or may not know that. And over on our store, anytime I see an order for Model Air Ivory, I always contact the customer and say, hey, did you mean to order model color like I use on stream? Or did you really want Model Air Ivory? And there has not yet been a time where anybody wanted Model Air Ivory. Okay, so here we're doing exactly the opposite. We're going to leave it a little bit dark on the facing part and build up color towards the peak again. So now we've just reversed our brush stroke from the other side. The other side we were going left to right the whole time. Here we're going right to left. So I just want to take my brush, very, very thin. Notice how I've taken most of the paint off on my thumb and then come right to left so that it builds up that drop of paint when I lift my paintbrush right here in the center. And gives that natural kind of blend out to the outside. Down below, I'm a little wet, so mine you're gonna see like that spotting built up right where I'm taking the brush off. I'll take some of my paint off.
Azuban said, nice, I see the Model Air has Dutch instructions on it.
Does it? Oh, it does. I think that is Dutch, right? Vallejo, a Spanish company. Friendly to their EU compatriots, I suppose. Again, just starting to work up. Mine was a little wet, so this bottom panel is a little loose. I'm gonna have to let it dry a little bit longer before I go back after it. Anytime you're working this thin, be very careful of overworking any areas. If I go back and touch paint on this bottom area again, it's just gonna tear because I've got too much water content on there. So I gotta let that dry, let that water evaporate, let the color sit down on the model before I go and try to attack it with any more paint. Otherwise, I start screwing things up, right? That's why it has that kind of cloudy patch right there in the middle of the panel. Maybe a little bit up top, too.
They don't have a great history. Maybe Vallejo is trying to, like, mend fences.
Mend fences, bridge those gaps. That's probably why they're, you know what? Actually, that's probably why there are Dutch instructions on it. For the same reason that anything sold in America that has to go to Montreal or Quebec also has to have French on it because they don't like us. So they make it as hard for us to sell our stuff there as possible. So maybe it's the Dutch making it hard on the Spanish to sell their products there. You want to sell products in our country, you must put our language on the box. Could be. There's a Dutchman out there, or a Dutch woman out there, I'm not trying to be prejudiced, who sounds exactly like I just sounded. I bet we could find one. I'm stippling in a little bit of color here to kind of get rid of that cloudiness that I had created, and now I've got a good fade again. All right, I just gave it a minute to dry. Still, we want to modulate again here, so we've got that nice brightness right along the peak. Dark at the peak, bright at the edge. So again, I'm still too wet. What is going on? I must have had a big blob of water on my palette right where I put my new batch of paint. That's probably it.
Light and Passion said, I'm a little wet. That's how much Slow Fuse loves painting.
I need a minute alone. Will y'all excuse me? I get excited about painting. I ain't afraid to say it. Not that excited. Jen's over there going, very weird man. Very weird man. Again, we don't want to put a lot of the golden brown in towards the center. I just want to build up a little bit on the edge here. This panel will be a little bit darker overall. Right, so I want to leave that burnt umber right in the center. Hopefully you guys are seeing the repetition here. All of these panels are being painted the same technique. The thing that you have to be paying attention to is how the panel would reflect the light. Where will those bright spots fall? And each piece of metal on a model might be a little different because of its shape, its direction on the model, like how it's facing the light source, all of that stuff, right? So you just always have to be looking and be careful as you're painting these panels to get these parts set up. Pick your brightest spot, and that's why we went through and did that initially and said, okay, I want the brightness in the middle, left of this panel, left on this panel, right on this panel, center on this panel. And go through and tell yourself those things, and it becomes much, much easier to then start blocking these colors in. And a lot of times if you don't have, you're not comfortable with picking those bright spots, take the picture, right? A lot of times you just take the picture, set it down, take the picture, bam, put a flash on, and then look at the picture on your computer. It'll show you where to paint your bright spots, okay? It'll be brighter on one side because of the reflection. It'll be brighter in the middle, brighter on the top, and all of that. And then use your picture as a reference. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, and I stress how important that can be as you're learning. And you'll start to find that your brain will clue into, oh, well, on the last model I painted, it was also bright right there on the helmet. And you'll start to understand how to paint helmets, right? Let's get this elbow plate right here. Bright on the top panel, again, leaving a little bit of darkness right towards the blue clothing. Why am I just being so freaking thin today? Building up the brightness on the outer edge as it is and leaving the darkness in towards the blue, so I get that nice shadow that starts to kind of reveal itself where the clothing and the metal mix. Same thing here. On the back, it's got kind of a chevron shape, right? Except that it's sideways. So again, we're going to paint the top part of that chevron brighter. I feel like I've just flooded my palette with water. Is my problemo. Yeah, so we want brighter right in the center. So I'm going to go from top to bottom as we're looking at it. The bottom being the ledge, that peak right in the middle of the plate right here. And keep adding to brighten that up right in the middle. So. Down below, again, I want it very, very dark right across that line. Remember, we go dark, we go light, and then we go a little dark to light again, but not as bright as up above. So with the same top to bottom stroke, I want to build up brighter color at the bottom of this shaded part too, but I'm going to stop right about there, so it's not quite as bright as the top. Get this. As I'm looking at it, I'm seeing that we need a little bit of color in here. That's all looking good. I think all we got is the opposite arm. Oh no, we got the shins. Damn it. All the gold. Let's keep going. Hopefully everybody's comfortable with this. You guys, do you see any questions over there that people are...
Nope.
Cool. Sorry, I'm not trying to not pay attention to chat, but I want to make sure we get a lot of this done tonight, so people can head into the weekend really feeling confident with working on this part of the model. So again, I want the brightness right along this ridge, this horizontal ridge here. It is horizontal when you hold the model like that. I want the brightness right along the ridge, so I'm going to pull from top to the ridge again. Letting that paint pool up right along the ridge. Leave a gap for the shadow of the plate, and then paint to the ridge on the next plate. Leave a gap. Paint to the ridge of this plate as well. Got the hand plate Let's go ahead and get it. Same way. Here I actually want to pull from bottom to top because it doesn't have a ridge. So it'll be darker at the bottom, brighter at the top. So I'm going to switch my stroke direction so that it gets a little brighter up at the top there.
It's a good idea to switch up your stroke direction. Is that how I've heard?
Otherwise it bends to one side. People are like, what did I walk into tonight?
Hey, gotta keep it Friday.
Even Fuse and Jen are off the rails tonight. We're usually trying, well, you're never trying to keep it in line. I'm always trying to play the cop, the anti-fun cop.
Wait.
Okay, do one more layer on those to smooth those out. Bingo, I like that. And on the underneath part here, same thing, top to bottom, but not as much brightness on the bottom of the panel as up above.
Thank you!
Thank you,
Who dat?
Kevin Adam.
Thank you so much for the host.
Kevin Adam. I don't know.
Kevon Adam, what's going on? Thank you for the host. Mucho apreciado. Welcome, everybody.
It's no filter Friday.
It is no.
We
It's
never
always
have a
no
filter
filter. There's
on
never
Friday.
a filter on Fridays. Fridays are always off the rail. That's why Friday is really like the only reason we leave the adult content thing on the door, right? The quote unquote Twitch door. It asks, do you want people to see that this is adult content? Well, I always leave it yes, even though most of the time we're not, because
You
there's this
never
thing-
know.
There's this thing called Friday, and you just never know what's going to happen. I remember one time we had a new viewer who found us during the week, and then who was that? And then on a Friday they were like, "Oh wow,
Like, oh my.
this stream changes quite a bit from the middle of the week, doesn't it?" I was like, "Oh yeah, it does kind of." Sorry,
It was a
I got
little
my
more
son
mellow
here.
tonight. I think that this is like a more focused task today.
Yeah. Oh, we also have this belt. Finding all sorts of gold stuff. We got to get the elbow up above, so let's start with that. Belt's got a nice piece of hair, or the elbow plate has got a nice piece of hair right in the middle of it. So this is gonna be fun. Let's very, very carefully pull the golden brown from the top to that center ridge, but you gotta leave a little bit of a gap for shadow of the hair. All right. So notice how I'm just controlling my stroke so that I'm lifting the brush off of the model right before it hits that piece of hair that's across that. That's one of those good brush control practice deals right here.
As it ends, I have one painted model and two partially painted models. And I've played 2 different games.
Arena Rex Malifaux.
Yeah, 2 different games.
All right, like so. Get it a little bit brighter up here on the top. Too shabby. Bottom side, same thing. Leave a shadow where the hair overtakes it, and then
You need to know left. There we go.
yeah, it's actually my right. The way you're looking at it, it'll be my direction.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, this camera's not reversed. So I guess if you say move up, I'll do this. Down this.
Okay.
Left, right. Yeah. I think you guys are seeing exactly what that is. If I flip it around, everybody thinks I'm right-handed. And they forget that I am a lefty. There you go. Leaving that darkness around the hair. Right, that's pretty good.
You've only painted 1 and partially painted 2 more.
All right, now this belt, we didn't talk about the belt early on, like what we wanted highlighted, what we didn't want highlighted. So I feel like we're just gonna run with it.
Pumpkin red.
I'm gonna put a bright spot in the belt because it's a curved piece. I'm going to put a bright spot right here over this highlighted buttock.
Buttock.
His left buttock is where we, and this hip is where we highlighted the pants. So I'm going to assume we want brighter color there. I'm going to pull from the quiver over here to that area. And just keep building up paint right over that part of the thigh and butt.
What he caused last Friday night? I think I was here last Friday night, wasn't I?
Yeah.
What did I miss?
Yeah, because Uncle Touchy came over. And then we...
That was the week before.
Oh, was it? Well, you were here last Friday.
I'm always here on Fridays. No, Armin asked if you told me what you caused last Friday.
Oh, she was here.
I know I was here. But he also said my daughter had me spend like $15 in apple barrel.
Oh,
paint.
yeah. Remember she was showing off what she was
Throw back my
painting?
legs and
with
pollute
mixing
my
colors.
britches
Yeah,
with
because
delight.
remember we did that thing where I showed everybody how to blend with purples? And so his daughter got all hype about it and took her craft paints and spent like, the entire weekend and all night and the wee hours, practicing mixing to make her paints turn, to the way she wanted. And I was like, that's awesome. He sent me a message saying, you've created a monster. I was like, you can thank me later.
Remember, there are worse things she could be doing.
All right, so I want it shadow as I go back here towards the quiver, bright right over the butt cheek, and then shadow as it comes back here underneath the sash. All right, then that same piece is right here, so I want brightness right in the middle of this section, and then fade it into the sash that lays down,
She was
and
up till 3 a.m.
fade it over here to shadow
Awesome.
there. So just kind of bright right in the center on that part. Same thing over here. Pick an area you want. I'm going to go a little left with the brightness on this one just because of its shape. So a little shadow where the plate comes in, and then a bigger shadow as it falls down here towards the center. And then just pile paint in there.
Why don't you donate $5 to the cause,
So-
and maybe it'll make you feel better.
Hey, what is going on? Thank you so much.
You.
Is that a giveaway?
That is a giveaway.
What did we start with? I feel like we started high from yesterday. I know Ray was dumping money in yesterday, too.